Hi friends, welcome back to ARC Tutorials. We are continuing with our Angular CRUD full tutorial series. This is the part 13 and the last part. We have been building this feature module called products for our e-commerce shopping cart application over the last 12 parts. We are all ready. It's time to test and deploy it. While deploying, I will also show you why it will not work in most servers that you deploy and how to fix it. Important piece of information you don't want to miss. Welcome back, friends. My name is Sridhar. I bring over 10 years of experience as a full stack developer, and I'm here to share my knowledge on modern web technology stack like Angular, Node, Express, MongoDB, and much more. While I'm here to share my knowledge, I'm also here to learn from you. I know a lot of you are building your own feature modules along this particular series, and I cannot tell you how excited I am and how eagerly I'm waiting to see what you build. During the course of this series of building your own feature modules, if you have any doubts, any queries, let me know, drop in the comment section. I will try and help you as much as I can. This is part of the Angular CRUD full tutorial playlist. The playlist link is in the description box below. Make sure you check it out. Just a quick recap for people joining us new on this particular series. We are building a complete feature module called products for an e-commerce shopping cart application called Shop for Less. All right, so we are at the fag end of this particular series. Today is the last episode, but definitely not the last video on this particular channel. Last part of this particular series where we'll be testing and deploying the feature module. So we have spent quite some time in developing this particular feature module from scratch. We have seen how to install an Angular application, to routing, to feature module, to lazy loading, and then the parts of it which are services, components, CRUD operations. So today we will do some kind of testing, manual testing, fix up some bugs, and we'll learn how to deploy. Let's get started. All right, so what I'll do is I'll make some quick notes for you here. Some of the important things, right? So the question that comes is what to do, right? What to do after you have developed the product or application or say feature module, right? So once you have it, you need to ship it, right? So you'll probably merge your code into your master branch or dev branch, and then you're ready to ship it, right? So before we do that, let's do a quick round of testing to make sure everything is good, right? So let's see this. We have it here. When we launch the products, we see all the products that are listed. Good so far. You can click on a particular category and see category based the results, right? And we can click on view all products. So we need to have a link. Let's throw in a link which says here, and I'm going to throw in a link here and saying create product, or I can say add new product, right? And the path will be slash create hyphen product, right? So background, let's make it gray. All right, so you see here now we have the link for add new product. So we click on it, we can go and add a new product, right? This particular thing doesn't have a title, so let's add that up. So under the create product, I'm going to go and just throw in a h1, or even better, let's keep it simple. Let's make it h2 and say add new product. And you can alternatively style it based on your comfort and how you would prefer it. I'll keep it simple. I'll keep it really simple. I'll say bg back. I'm using some utility class background warning, going to throw in some margin bottom 2. So now you see we have got this add new product, or if you don't want any, uh, right? So we have bg light. So you see there's a slight light color that gets added. So good so far. I think this looks neat enough. Not great, but neat enough, right? So yeah, so that's for create product. Now similarly, take the same experience, put it in update product, right? And call it update product, right? So go to all products, click on any product, Click on update product here. You see update product, right? All right, so we have view products. We have this is what we started out to kind of build our application, if you see. And these are the things that we covered: add product, view all products, update, delete, view products by category, right? So once you have developed this, what next, right? So obvious thing is we need to deploy that, right? So once, so I have done manual testing, but I will cover in some other tutorial how to write unit test for testing as part of mean stack that I will starting tonight. But let's focus on this first. So deployment, right? So we can deploy to any server, right? We can deploy to any web server, right? Any web server, or you can even deploy to any cloud platform like AWS or Azure or GCP, all right? Or you can even choose any web hosting sites like Bluehost or SiteGround or GoDaddy, right? Etc. For this particular tutorial, I will be using a local server, right? I have covered this tutorial in deployments in as part of Angular 9 full tutorial series. So make sure you check it out if you are new here. So yeah, I'll be deploying it to a local server using XAMPP, right? So it's an Apache based free open source local server setup, right? Now you can use Apache, you can use any IIS, any server of your choice. Now that being said, let's go ahead and build the application, right? So for that, what we need to do, go here. I'm going to cancel. The important thing, a most important thing about deployment is the base href, right? So when I deploy to my local server, it would be something like this: localhost 50 slash shop for less, right? This is my folder name. This is my server. Now, if you have a web hosting URL, you will probably be having a root directory for it, right? So it is about basically which folder you're hosting in at your server, right? So my folder name is shop for less, and this is my server URL. Now that being said, I have to use a command which is ng build. This is what it will build, and there will be an output in a folder called dist, right? Dist folder output of the application, which is nothing but JavaScript files. One index.html, one index.html, and few JavaScript files like main, polyfills, etc. All right, so let's go ahead and build it, and we'll pass the base href. So I'll say base href equal to http localhost 50 slash shop for less slash. Make sure when you give the base href, right, make sure you give it as a folder, which means backslash is needed at the end. Okay, so like here I've given. Now similarly, I'll say my deploy URL is also same. All right, and then I'm going to say shop for less. All right, so now we have our base href and we have our deploy URL. Now we are good to deploy. So let's go ahead and now execute this. It will create a new folder here under E2E, just in the same folder as source inside shop for less, and it would give the output in dist folder. While it is building, I'll request you, if you're liking the video, to keep those positive encouraging comments coming. Like the video, drop in your comments. I feel very happy when I see them. All right, so you see we have the dist folder here and it completed a task. Now what I'm going to show you here is this is the folder. So you have the dist shop for less. So you see products module is generated everything. So just copy it as it is, Control A, Control C. And what you need to do is just go to the folder path which you want to deploy. So in my case, it's the shop for less, which is on XAMPP, right? So now that I have it, I'll go to my URL and I'll enter shop for less. Okay, so it is not working. Let's see why. Okay, so it says fail to load. Okay, so you see, I made a mistake in not giving the uh, slash, right? So that's the mistake. So make sure you don't do it. That's a common mistake, right? So this is a common mistake. Common mistake a lot of developers make. But these usually will be these commands are usually run in your pipeline, right? So you don't do it manually. Do it manually, right? We do it automatically in the build pipelines. All right, so we have it here. Again, let's go back and take our code from dist, Control A, Control C, and then go to our server folder, delete this and paste the new code. So I've just done copy paste, nothing fancy here. Make sure that you also do the same and then just reload. Now we should see our application, right? So our application data is not showing up. Okay, so the data won't show up. The data won't show up. The reason being JSON server is not listening now, is not listening to 4200, right? Or 3000 from the correct directory. So what I'll do, I'll quickly navigate, right? So if you see, I have navigated to the same folder, source folder on XAMPP, right? So what we'll do, we'll go to XAMPP and then I'm going to say htdocs, then I'm going to say shop for less, source, assets, and then data. And here I'm going to run JSON server. Now it's running locally. So now we should see some products, but it's still not showing. So let's see why. Okay, in the network, you can see that it's making calls. So it's getting categories, which is correct, but it's not showing the products, right? So now that's the common mistake that a lot of people do. Now, why it is not working, right? The reason is the reason is these most web servers, right? They don't support path strategy of Angular, right? So to fix this, right, what we'll do, we will import hash location strategy. Okay, let's do that. So how do you fix it? You go to app routing module. Okay, and then what we'll do, we will add in the providers. Okay, here I'm going to say under in providers, I'm going to say provide the class location strategy. Okay, and I'm going to say use class, right? This be an array here. So here I'm going to say use class and I'm going to say hash location strategy. Close this here. Okay, so we imported location strategy, hash location strategy. So what this means now is to access, right? To access now, will the new URL will be localhost 50 slash shop for less slash hash products, right? So using hash location now, right? So you see there will be a hash in the URL. That's how at least this particular server will know. Okay, so let's go ahead and now that we fixed the routing module, let's go ahead and generate it again. The output. It may look like it's tricky, but it's actually not. It's pretty straightforward, and you know that once you start working on real-time applications, you get used to these things. If something is not working, you will exactly know why it's not working because that's what experience will teach you. Okay, so I think in the app routing, by mistake, we imported a wrong one. crypto. So okay, so let's remove it here. Okay, and okay, so let's again build it. In the meanwhile, let's clean up our application. So in the server, I'm just deleting everything. Try again. It will not cancel. The reason being that we are running a node JSON server on that particular data. So I'm again deleting now. Now it's gone. So I'll wait for the dist folder to come up again. So it's coming up. So we have the data. Let's see our code. So it's generated. So let's go here, take our output and put it in the server. All right, so now we know that when we refresh, we need to start our server on data. So in the local host server, you start that application and reload. You still don't see data. Okay, so just when doesn't work, just empty cache and reload. All right, so now it is showing hash. So I'm going to say hash products. So it shows the products. Images again are not coming because of the path that I have to change. Similarly, you can say, so you need to update the routes path of all of this to show. So let's quickly do that and change some of the data. So you get the idea, right? So this is how you have to fix up the routes. So wherever you have the routes in your routing module, right? You have it here. So I'll go to my sidebar component, and here I'm going to say hash slash, right? So it was just products, right? So I'm going to say hash slash, right? So now this would be slash. So it would be slash, right? So this is how the navigation would be. So let's build again. It may look like a tedious process, but trust me, this is how products are built. So you need to have little patience. Alrighty, this is all good. So you just need to fix the base path or wherever you're printing or looping things, right? Once you do that, things would be pretty straightforward from there. All right. So let me cancel it here again. And it has generated the output. Let's go to dist, copy the entire thing, go to our server, delete that, paste the new ones. And then what we are going to do is I'm just going to change the data, right? Because now it will not be anymore 4200. It's localhost 50/shop for less. That's the path of the server, right? So you need to fix that path, and here and here, right? Okay, good. So far so good. Now let's start our application again. So we copied our files, we got everything in place. Let's reload. Okay, so it's, did we reload? Okay, so it says shop for less, and then there is, looks like we didn't start the server here. Okay, so we have our application running. Looks like we didn't copy the data. Edit. Okay, so let's copy them again from dist. Go back to the folder of the server, copy paste, replace all the files. Okay, then let's do a hard reload. Okay, so it's still not showing, or rather let me refresh it once. Okay, so here now it shows category 2. So now you see It's showing the casual products, all products. That the image of the link, that's not showing up because of the path. So you have to fix this by using the assets. So once you give that the correct path of where you're hosting your images, it would start showing up. So that is how we do end-to-end development of a feature product module. We have learned to build the feature module, test it, and now we deployed it to our local server. That concludes this particular series. That's the end of this particular series on Angular CRUD full tutorial series. Congrats to all of you on completing this series. As usual, I'm right here to help you if you have any doubts while you look up for it. I thank you so much for having patience, for bearing up with me. I hope these were helpful to you. Starting next, I'm going to start a mean stack tutorial series where I will cover 5 tracks, including Mongo, Express, Angular, and Node.js in detail. I hope you will keep supporting and encouraging me like you have been doing all the way so far. Thank you again so much. Appreciate all your love and comments that are so encouraging and positive. Thank you so much again. See you in the next series, Mean Stack Tutorials.